Hi, it's Neil Sean here on your entertainment news. I'm in my element today because we're going to make it a show to remember. See what I did there? We have the wonderful, the supremely talented, the brilliant Shalamar. Remember though, boys and girls?
That's right. And if you miss it, you miss out.
I can't believe they're here. Don't miss Shalamar today on your entertainment news. Lovely to meet you all finally, as we've been gossiping beforehand. You know I'm a huge fan. You're here in the UK. Tell us what you're up to.
Hanging out.
We're here on tour.
Touring.
And we're doing a tour, and you can strangle me for the dates. We're starting at the O2 Indigo, and we're going around to the Isle of Wight, and we're doing...
Isle of Wight. We've got Wolverhampton, that's further later.
And
Got the Concord coming up. We've got...
Hanging out.
Coming to a theater near
you.
I have to say, genuinely, it is a real thrill to meet you all because I've been a fan of you for so many, well, not too many years, but a few years. And of course, as we were just saying, I loved your mum, Carrie Lucas. I didn't realise until I was looking into it all. It just, the dynasty of music that you've given us all. Are you aware, I guess you are because you're selling out to concerts and shows and stuff, but are you aware how popular you are still? Your records are played a lot on the radio, but do you feel that when you come over to England from us, the fans?
When we come to England, it's like a really, really good feeling. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, a home thing, a home situation. And, because people, like we were talking earlier, people, a lot of times when you become a part of people's soundtrack of their life,
yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing thing, and that's an honor. That's an honor as an artist to get into that category. So coming here to England is always a good thing.
When I remember in the golden days of Top of the Pops, I have a lot to thank you for, Howard, because you got me into wet hair gel. Do you remember that look? We thought it was fabulous, didn't we? And I'm sure you must have been in danger with the lights. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like going up in flames.
Blown up.
And the leather trousers, I think, with the chain across. Do you remember those?
Leather trousers.
The chains.
Foxtails.
It was trends, that people you don't get now. But what are your memories of being on big shows like that? Because that was a phenomenal period to just, records climbed the charts then, didn't they? They didn't go in and go out. So
exactly. And the fun thing about it is, was it with the Friends album? I think it was when the album. We actually had one of the longest albums on that year on the charts. It stayed there, and
most number one record.
Coming to Top of the Pops was so magical back then because the musical community was just so enriched. You had Culture Club, you had the Bell Stars, Dexy's Midnight Runner, Duran Duran, ABC,
You're making me feel old,
Roxy Music and all that. But it was so invigorating. Everybody, we were talking earlier, everybody had their own thing. Imagination, Loose Ends, Junior, everybody had their own thing. Everyone wasn't doing the same thing. It wasn't so homogenized, So.
And the thing about Top of the Pops, because we would do Bandstand, we do Soul Train and stuff in the States, but the thing about Top of the Pops is that came on every Thursday night.
Yeah.
And if you were like a hit on Top of the Pops, the next day you would see your record sales just start rising and stuff. So that's what I dug about, because it on Thursday night, Top of the Pops hit the whole country, everybody.
Yeah.
So it was great.
We used to do the Camden Palace on Thursday nights as well, and it was hosted by Steve Strange. And the whole music community would be there. Everyone would be there.
Yeah. And you had to be strange to get in. Remember, you couldn't just go in and be normally dressed. Yeah, it was very trendy, wasn't it?
I have to admit, I was strange back then.
He was.
Sweetie, you're trapped between these two. Do they ever let you get a word in? I mean, this gorgeous woman sat in the middle of the road.
Well, off the air, I'm the one usually running my mouth, so that's just kind of just taking a breather.
But your background, your own musical dynasty is incredible in itself, isn't it? I mean, what your parents achieved, and then what's come through you. Was music always in your life? And you couldn't escape it.
Absolutely. I mean, even to my grandparents, Almost everyone in my family is either a singer or musician, or even my son now. I mean, it's like we've all got children that are, kind of gravitated, I think, to the music when it's in your blood. And even though, I do other things. I'm actually a licensed certified personal trainer. So
I can see.
And that fitness and wellness. But the thing is, music, if it's in your blood and your spirit, it's something you can never run away from.
Yeah. And I was going to say, so when you were growing up, your parents just must have been forming all sorts of things. So he's just there for you every day?
Yeah, every day. But you know what's strange is, and they hear me say it all the time, when it's just something that is a part of your landscape, you don't appreciate it, and it's not as exciting it was exciting to me, like especially being around these guys, because it was like, hanging out with Jeffrey was like being at Disneyland every day. As a kid, going to the roller skating rink and hanging, he was just like literally like Disneyland.
Yeah.
And then of course this one, I could always count on a good newspaper and a pop on the back of my head, no matter where I was.
M&M's in her nose.
Anyway, but yeah, it was.
That's another story.
You do.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to grow up in this because I'm still like the kid.
But I have to say as well, Jeffrey, I remember seeing you. We used to get repeats of Soul Train over here. I think you came on Channel 4 at that time.
Okay.
And it seemed to me such an exciting show because it wasn't conformed, the way that the cameras were put around. You felt you were in the party, which is a bit rare. It was different for TV. Now you see it all the time with reality TV, but then we didn't see the behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's when I first saw you, I nearly broke my ankle thanks to you, doing, of course, your backslide. Because everybody at school the day after was like, oh, did you see that guy? And of course, a lot of people then associate that with Michael Jackson, but you created that. You came up with that. So what was that like?
Wait. He taught Michael how to do that.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, it was the Electric Boogaloos who initiated the dance.
Yeah.
And it was me who took it and kind of like conformed it and revolutionized it, because I wanted to do it across the stage with Shalamar.
Yeah.
And so then I carried it. So I have to give credit to the Electric Boogaloos as well. But we were just doing what we did. I had no idea it would have that impact when I brought it over here. I knew it was cool in that, but I didn't know it was going to have that kind of impact. As well as Shalamar, we didn't know our music was going to have that kind of impact over here as well.
See, that was the whole thing. Like we said, it's Top of the Pops. He came over to Top of the Pops. At the time, the whole group couldn't come over at that time because of we had been on the road so much, and certain personal things that took place, and so it was. Instead of nobody coming over, because we had I Can Make You Feel Good was was coming up the charts. Instead of nobody coming over, we said, well, Jeffrey, go over there and do your thing, put a dance thing to it. And again, Thursday night, Top of the Pops came on. Friday, the whole country was talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we are when you talk about the popularity of Shalamar here in the UK. Jeffrey was the first perpetuator of that whole thing.
And I just to even chime in, it's funny because all of us pretty much are, but I'm still in touch with a lot of the solar groups, a lot, and a lot of them are still amazed to see how much time we spend over here, and very interested, like wow. But and when it all goes back to what you said, Jeffrey coming over here was really what spearheaded that, because if you think about it, the music lives on, but you don't really get a chance to see the other acts come over as much.
It's interesting as well to see, because it's like an idea that probably somebody had in the labels. Oh, we're saying Jeffrey, and you don't know what's going to happen from that, because you're just thinking, well, somebody can go. You know what I mean? And then that just opens the door for everything, really. Like you just say Dynasty, The Whispers, everybody that you had.
But you had to spend time over here. I think we're the only group on Solar that spent a lot of time over here.
Right.
And you have to really, make that investment.
It's a relationship, really, that you guys have.
But your hair, I have to talk about. I mean, because I was going through a bit of a Boy George
all were
phase
like-
at the time.
I know.
And then and this is the thing when you're young, you do this. You suddenly got this long corkscrew hair because it's kind of. And then I saw this razor cut thing, and I thought, how do you do that? And of course, when I lived in a small village, and they could barely wash their hair, never mind cut it. So you come away and you think, how did you get that look? So the whole stylized image of your group was very clever because you were all individual. That was the thing. I mean, you all had different, looks and sounds. But was it just something you did, or did somebody say, "We'll
No,
do this"?
actually, I had it done here on Kings Road. His name was Raymond Bird.
I know, what did you say when
As a
you
hairdresser
first
named
saw
Raymond
it?
Bird. I came with the big afro.
Yeah.
But then I saw the punk movement that was here. I saw the new romantics thing that was going on. I was like a kid in a candy store, and I said, I want to go for something different. And so I went to Raymond Bird. Actually, a friend took me to Raymond Bird, and then Raymond Bird gave me that geometrical cut, and he permed it straight for me, and I added, the braid to it and everything, and it created a big thing. That was the movement, because I don't know how much you guys were aware of it, but it was the English New Wave going to America.
Yeah.
So I was on that wave, and then writing it back to America as well. So as well as vice versa. I think Shalamar pretty much was one of the only groups like that actually rode against that wave. We made the wave here in the UK, as the UK was making the wave over there.
Do you know, I have to say, you probably don't know this, but you could buy a Jeffrey Daniel clip-in long braid.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was a roach
I had
clip.
one actually, which was a bit embarrassing.
Let me tell you what was funny. When I was doing the musical Starlight Express, right?
Yeah.
So then I was rehearsing for it. And I'm the person who likes to get into things.
Yeah.
So I went to the toy store down there on Regent Street. The
Hamleys,
big,
yeah.
Hamleys, the toy shop. Because I wanted to buy an electric train set. So I'm
Like you do.
Yeah. So I'm going up an escalator, and some kids are going down, and they're like, look at this. Jeffrey Daniel imitator, look at him. And they were laughing at me because they thought I was somebody doing my hair like Jeffrey Daniel. I didn't say anything, I just laughed to myself and just went on up.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
I want to know the reaction that you had the first time you saw.
No, because Jeff came over. He
thought I
came
was
over
crazy.
with the big afro,
Right.
and then came back home because of course, we didn't see Top of the Pops
Yeah.
over here. And I think we had a meeting or something like that. And Jeff walked in, and I was like, this boy done lost his mind. But it was cool.
It was.
I really wanted to, because we never toured in the States.
Yeah.
With that whole situation, because
right.
it was during the Look album,
Right.
and that's when we kind of split up at that time, and then so I was really excited about touring in the States
With that and the whole
with that whole
giveaway
thing, because it was I wanted to see what what the reaction would be. I felt like it would be an exciting thing, a great like we're transitioning into. But we never got a chance to tour with
Wow.
them.
I just remember as a kid thinking, wow. When I first saw Jeffrey, it was almost a little spooky because it was so different. I had a thing about
different look,
it was
yeah.
so
Yeah. Very
different, but it was like I remember thinking, he's brave.
Yeah.
He's
I
brave.
think actually that's true, yeah, because I think, it was sort of changing that you could be, when you think of like recently we lost Pete Burns, from Dead or Alive.
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
he was just, I knew him and he was completely over the top, and I did have an eye patch. I mean, I followed everything, trust me. But, nobody said, I remember my dad saying, well, has he lost an eye or something? Watching him on the telly.
Right.
No, it's just trendy.
Right.
Why would you want to do it? But people did, and you could be more experimental in your look. And people were more embracing us, whereas I
Right.
think now, as we said before with music, it's very. I quite like Lady Gaga, but it seems more of a cartoon than the music doesn't stand up to the image. So
You know what's funny about that? When Lady Gaga first came out with all these wild costumes, I took one glance. You know what I said? Lee Barnes.
Oh,
Wow.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew
You
where it was
sure
coming
did say
from.
that.
Yeah.
But the other generation would not have known
They
that
don't
was
know.
coming from Lee Barnes, and you
Yeah.
know that, yeah.
Especially with the meat suit.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
All
of that
everything,
stuff.
everything.
You'd never be stuck for dinner though, would you? I'll just have a steak.
Wow,
I've got to ask you, as always, we haven't got too much time, but I've got to ask you, when you were first, say, played some of the tracks, did you know instantly they were going to be hits? Like when when you're in a studio, how can they say, we want you to sing this, or they said, we want you, did you kind of think, is this a hit or not? Because when I worked in a record studio, you just kind of knew. I know it sounds strange, but the writers would play it and you think, I think this is big. Yes.
You know, I mean, you go in the studio. The thing about going in the studio all the time is just go in there and do your best.
Yeah.
Do the best. Put your best creative foot forward. And I don't think you really go in there and saying that, oh, this is going to be a smash. You know what makes you feel good. I mean, we would have so much fun, just like A Night to Remember. I remember we did we were in the studio and we recorded the background vocals. It was Halloween night, you know, and so somewhere there is a multi-track of us singing full harmony. Make this a night to dismember, you know. And so you go in and you just go in and you put your best creative foot forward, and hope that people can really gravitate towards it and stuff. And I mean, we've been so blessed, you know, as far as like Shalamar and solo careers also, to have material that, you know, has transcended, you know, through the times
and will continue
and continue to transcend through the time.
But the productions are so clear, aren't they? I mean, that's the thing. Even when you listen to them today, you can see there's so much effort into the production.
Oh, and
you
there
don't
was.
Our
necessarily notice when you're buying it as a kid.
There
Our
was.
producer Leon Silvers, he was just
amazing.
He was just
Cream of the
he was
crop.
a stickler for that. You know,
Yeah.
he knew his sound. He created the sound of Los Angeles, the Solar sound, and so he was just amazing. Still is.
Just remembering
we've done another single, you know, just recently with Leon.
With Leon
And I mean, going back in with him, I've just brought back so many. I remember one time back in the day, we were going in and like after about we were starting a vocal, and after about 10 or 15 minutes, it was the one time I was just irritable that day or whatever. We started 15, 20 minutes. I said, Lee, I can't do this today. We got to start again tomorrow, because it's just so relentless. He knows what he wants. Everything
And, you know,
is, you know, yeah.
I mean, I have to interject because I've listened. I've been in the studio with them, and my father was very hands-on with the production. And he and Leon, he would be in the studio listening, and he'd come home and play it. But and I know how pocketed he was. But what people and I had never understood, because I had heard but never worked with him. So I think I was kind of prepared. My nervousness of working with Leon for the first time. I mean, Leon's worked with my mother and everyone.
It's a bit of a tough call for you,
No,
isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
no, it literally, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, I know that I also had to have a bar that was set because of my mother.
Yeah.
And when I went, and I was nervous, but I'm pretty accurate, especially in the studio. But when I knew that I was kind of on point, and I'll never forget this, Leon, and if you don't get a line right, it'll sound perfect to you, but to him, I remember going over this line, and he was giving me things, and he just looked at me and shook his head, and he laughed. And I said, what? What did I do? And he just said, you get it. He said he get it. He goes, and some of these things, you really sound like he says, you remind me of Carrie. And that was a huge
lovely thing, though, isn't it?
compliment to me. Yeah. So.
Because I think it doesn't matter what age you are, you always want to please your parents.
Absolutely.
You know, because you know if you've taken it home and they go, what are you thinking?
And to
As
me-
my mom does.
But I mean, the funny thing is, my father, really kind of setting this pace for me to be with Shalamar and to do this, never heard me perform with Shalamar. So that meant a lot.
I'm sure he's looking down though, sweetie. I'm sure he's thrilled because it's lovely that, as I say, I genuinely mean that. You listen to the songs today and because we can hear them, in little things now in our ears, you pick up things that you didn't hear before. Because although we like the wood speakers and everything, you couldn't get that close. Do you know what I mean? You just couldn't hear these little cowbells or the pow drum on second time around and stuff like that. You pick it up and think, wow, there's a lot of work on this. And that's, I think, the difference between then and now. There was a fuller sound.
Well, that's because there were orchestras in the...
And
We
another thing
actually
now,
did music.
with the computers, everyone has a studio.
Right.
Back then, going to a studio was like, oh my God, we're going to the studio.
Yeah.
It was
String
a studio.
sections.
Now you have studios and PCs, so
It's true, actually. I remember working with the lovely Liza Minnelli, and she went with the Pet Shop Boys. And she worked in as just literally Macs and laptops, and she's, where's the orchestra? And it's here.
Yeah.
And, it must be awful for somebody like that, as you say, because you think, is this it?
Yeah.
So when you think about it, I mean, the bar has been set so low now.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, and just anybody can carve out a little corner right there, and you have your Pro Tools, your computer,
have your orchestra.
everything, and that's everything. So the bar is set so low now that it's kind of crazy. In certain ways, it leaves room for people that were never able to get into the music business but then in other ways, some of those people should never have gotten into the music business.
But I think good music always lasts.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, and it doesn't matter. Whenever you play any of your songs from even the label, I was just listening to Dynasty, I Don't Want to Be a Freak. I thought it was such a great title. It meant a different thing over here. You think, how brave to call somebody that, But it is wonderful music, and I have to say, I'm so thrilled to meet you all. I'm going to come and see you.
Please,
Because I
yes.
think, I have seen you before many years ago, and but I always enjoy your music, and it's a real thrill. So thank you so much today.
Thank you for having us.
so much.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much.